presence of the heights and the triumph that you will know. Look for me in a world when there is harm. Look for me all around you. For with God's grace, I shall come back with countless millions of black men and women who have died in America, those who have died in the West Indies, and those who have died in Africa to aid you in the fight for liberty, freedom, and life. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will include. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will include. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own, to make ourselves free men. Our great scholars have advanced through the colleges and universities, have thrown away the blessed record. Babylon did it. Assyria did it. France under Napoleon did it. Germany under Prince von Bismarck did it. England under America under George Washington did it. Africa with 400 million black people can do it.
Wonderful. Give thanks for your presence again. All joy and happiness, all praises to Kadamawa Haile Selassie. The shock of the hour is now at hand. Honorable Priest Isaac with you. The Mystic Vibration Radio, and we're talking about the international flavor and of course, you know, the universal spice. And of course, we are celebrating at this time the 17th day of August 2018. That is the Earth Day, what we also refer to as the born day of Marcus Messiah Garvey. We refer to him as the mighty prophet, the most right, excellent Marcus Messiah Garvey. Of course, 2018 from 1887, the Earth Day of Marcus Messiah Garvey. So that has us there at, where are we at now? 131 years, 131 in the cycle. And we, you know, definitely give thanks. And you know that coupled with this, the Night of the Black Tiger, of course, you know, the Night of the Black Tiger, our third official DVD documentary. Of course, our first official, not our first video or first lecture or even our first documentary, but our first official, you know, documentary. Copyright, though you can't really plagiarize it. Well, you can if you want, but you know, there are penalties if we desire to enforce. But anyway, our first official DVD documentary is The Master of Ceremonies, and of course our second DVD documentary officially is Seven, both being the divinity of number one, the Master of Ceremonies, Haile Selassie I, and Seven, the divinity of the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards. And now we have on the table the Night of the Black Tiger. Not necessarily Black Panther really, but the Night of the Black Tiger. And you know that night is K-N-I-G-H-T. So I mean, just like the Master of Ceremonies, there are a lot of esoteric understanding within that for us to gather. So make sure you get your copy of that DVD documentary, The Night of the Black Tiger, the full divinity of Marcus Messiah Garvey. That brings you to the three now of, you know, such a presentation, and still look forward for Wazirio to come in the future. And I mean, of course, the execution of Fairy Tale, Folly Days, and Nursery Crime also for the future. And we have many other things for the future coming up, you know, so just keep looking for these DVD documentaries, you know. And since I'm mentioning our products, I'm sure you all know we just officially now launched the True Biblical Land of Israel. Some of you, I'm sure, have been scoping the challenges that we've been putting out on the internet. You know, we have already challenged some of the key, you know, establishment in the Jewish community. We have definitely challenged the Hebrew Israelite community, and we have definitely put out a challenge to the Christian community. And then we still have more to do and more challenges to send out and more copies of our book to send out as it deals with the challenge, you know, the True Biblical Land of Israel. But anyway, let's get into what we're doing. But my brothers and sisters, this is the shock of the hour. And if you have not subscribed for the shock of the hour, what is wrong? What's holding you back? Remember, we are supposed, well, some of you, we're supposed to be on the same battlefield here, the same team. Eh? So I'm being very serious, you know how your brother is. So subscribe to the Shock of the Hour. This is a program that comes to you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Coming right out of the realms of Radio Anu, the international flavor, the universal spice. Radio Anu cannot die. Whether it be on the internet, whether it be on the FM frequency right here in Antigua, or whether it be on the ground, just know, you know, Radio Anu is still the #1 sound in town, you know. Everything else, I mean, it could just be a clown. So I'm saying you need to subscribe. If you're not a part of the subscription team, you need to subscribe. It's only $50 a month, and you get every program that we do. As soon as we're done, we start to upload them, and you get them in your inbox via your email the same night, or at least by the next day. You know what I'm saying? And keep in mind that the programs that we do for the Shock of the Hour, you know, we take every now and again, we take 1 or 2 and put it on the YouTube. But when you subscribe, man, there are a lot of other benefits that come with it if you consider knowledge and education and information beneficial. And anyone who's a part of our subscription team knows that. I don't want to come and give away all the secrets live to everybody, but once you come and you hook me up or hook up with me, man, and just be a part of the team, you don't even have to worry about nothing. You understand? Yeah, I don't want to give away all the secrets, but just subscribe, you know. And remember, we have a special drive that is definitely out now, as it relates to yourself being a part of the subscription team. As I said before, if you just bring one person, one, you know, uno. If you bring one person as a subscriber, so you're part of the subscription team, you're paying your $50 a month happily, and you say, hey, you want to join the subscription team with me? Yeah, I always wanted to subscribe to the Shock of the Hour with the priest. And you link the priest via email or whatever and say, well, priest, I'm bringing in somebody new. Then that means now, in a sense, your cost for your Shock of the Hour goes down basically by half. Because what happens now, that $50 a month becomes $50 for 2 months. So you almost get an extra month every time you renew your subscription, pardon me. Why? Because you've brought on another person. That's all. I mean, you can't, one other person. So even if you're not a subscriber yet, and you start by coming in with someone, well, the someone will pay their $50 a month as the subscription, and you will start by paying $50, but you're not getting, it's not $25 a month, you know. It's $50, but you get 2 months for the $50, and that's very, very important for you to remember. But now listen, but if you bring in 3 people now, that means 2 others. If you have the ability to get 2 other people, boy, that's kind of hard. Okay, well, I mean, what's easy? There's so many things that are hard. What job do you do? I'm a construction worker. I'm a bus driver. I'm a teacher. I'm a pilot. I'm sure it's hard. I mean, you may have your easy days, but I know it takes concentration. It takes effort. It takes a will. So, in the same way, if you can get 2 extra people along with yourself, then you don't have to pay at all for the Shock of the Hour. Not with yourself, pardon me. 2 extra people along with the person you brought in first, which is 3 people now in general. This doesn't include you. 3 people. You don't have to pay for the Shock of the Hour at all. Forever. At least once you have 3 people, you know, in the flow. All right. And as I told you before, when you have, when you go up to 3 more people now, so you have 6 people that you brought into the Shock of the Hour. First of all, you don't pay for your Shock of the Hour, and as long as these 6 are on board, we will send you $50 every month. I will send you $50 every single month with you bringing in 6 people to the Shock of the Hour. If you have the ability to bring 9, because there are those that can do this, you know. This is what I'm saying. You might say, boy, I might be able to get 1, but for me to bring 9, Well, it's up to you, because I know there are those that have the ability to hook up 9. And with the 9, they literally would get, we send them $100 every month. $100 every month. And depending on what the energy of the time is, we will put a bonus on that, because that's the type of person, well, that's the type of person I am, for sure. Anyone that associates with me know how I think, So, I mean, this is where we're going, my brothers and sisters. I know some of you listening looking for a job, at least looking for some extra money. Some of you clearly say, boy, I'd like to subscribe, but I don't have it. Okay, well, it's all right. As I said, if you can get 3 other people who have it, as you call that, and they can subscribe, because, I mean, all you have to do is share my information. You can make it your business to share every video I have, to put it on your platform, to put it through your YouTube, and wherever else you communicate with people, as I know you do. Share it with your friends. Let them know, man, you can subscribe. The brother has a lot of different information. Every day something new. I mean, it's tried and tested, isn't it? Or tested and approved, or tried and approved. It's obvious that we cover many different things, many subject areas, different. I mean, we go all around and we come with the proper facts and make sure the program goes down nice. So it's obvious that we're doing something that, can only benefit your mental capacity, your understanding, and your wisdom. Straight up. We're not trying to religiousize nobody. It's obvious. I don't think you could pull, even though we would prove our facts. And sometimes we make it clear where we stand, but I mean, no one can say we're trying to drag you into any church here. It's just, upliftment of our people, straight up. And if we wanted to, we could drag you into church, man, but that's not the mission. But that's not the mission here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I like that. So, if you're serious, man, you want to make some extra money. You imagine that. That's where we have to reach now for us to strengthen ourselves. You can make $100 every month. I would send you $100 every month. As we like to say in the Caribbean, you may say just 100. I'm sure it can plug some holes. Yeah, all right. And you don't gotta lift no bricks. You don't have to sweat. Just do what you've been doing all the time, instead of sharing all of that other stuff you're sharing. Because I'm sure, we like to share stuff, we share. Sometimes we go looking for things to share. Well, share me. Share my program. Let a friend know about what we do. Like the videos when you see it, and then direct them to you. You become an agent now. Don't direct them to me. Wow, I'm gonna contact him and and subscribe. No, hold on. Before you contact him, let me contact him first and tell him that you're coming. And when you contact him, tell him you're coming in my name. Yeah, that's how you work. So you have 6 people contacting. First of all, you yourself, remember now, you are a person, you want the information too. So you're already paying your $50 a month, or you don't have the $50 a month, or you think you can't afford it. If you don't have it, you don't have it. But then some of us, we can't afford it. We have it, but we can't afford it. Well, everybody has to know where their priorities lie. That's what it's all about, priority, eh? Okay, well, I gotta eat or I'm gonna die. There you go. So you understand that if you don't put something inside, you're not gonna live. Fair enough. So this is what I'm saying now. Some of us comprehend that knowledge and wisdom and understanding is very key for our survival, whether it be of our spirit or our soul, and eventually even our body. So we will invest $50. That ain't nothing to invest in proper, right information, good information. You comprehend. So if you can cut that price down to half by just bringing one person, one man, I give you an easy start. One person, just get one smaddy, as we say in Antigua, and bring them in, and you get 2 months worth of program every time you subscribe with the $50. So it's easy already. And if you have 3, You don't have to pay. And you may say, hey, I could stop right there because I just want the program. I ain't trying to make no money. I just want the program and I don't have to pay because I brought 3 in. Wow. Well, bring 3 more. Okay, I brought 3 more. I'm going to start to pay you now. Yeah, $50 a month. So what if I bring 3 more? $100 a month. Wow. So wait, if I bring 3 more, $150 a month. Hold on. What you trying to tell me? So if I can find 3 more after that, I'll be sending you $200 every month once that capacity and those people that you brought in stay in. And remember, they can do the same. They can do the same. Each one of them can bring in 1. It doesn't change nothing to do with you. Each one of them could bring in 3. It doesn't change your position. But it advances them now. Because if they bring 3, each of them, whoever they are, obviously they ain't going to be paying for their program anymore. You understand? And listen, when you bring in 6, don't think you're just getting 50, you know. You're getting something worth the value of 100 because you're getting your program. And you're still getting another $50. So it's 50 plus 50. So be careful how you look at it. Good. So, again, I'm inviting you to subscribe. And all you have to do to subscribe, if you're not a subscriber, is to contact us, 728-3162, better call, whether it be calling or WhatsApp, or email us. Emailing is really the main thing because that's how you're going to get the program. We email it to you in your inbox, you know, every single day. freezeisaac27@gmail.com. So we're celebrating Marcus Messiah Garvey now. And of course, for all my subscribers, you know you will be getting the Night of the Black Tiger. You know, and that's just you could say I'm giving everyone a clue, if you want to call it that. I'm giving you a hint. So instead of buying the Night of the Black Tiger, just subscribe. You'll get the Night of the Black Tiger. Although that's not officially a part of the deal. But I'd still, and once you are my subscriber, man, you know you're getting what I produce. You understand? Tonight I want to talk about, I'm not going into the full depths of the divinity of Marcus Garvey. I know we might want to be hearing that. If you watch the documentary 7 alone, that clearly shows you who Marcus Garvey is. But what I'm saying tonight, I want to talk about Marcus Garvey as it relates to Haile Selassie, specifically him dissing Haile Selassie and referring to him as a cowardly lion and saying that he should not have gone to where did he go? To England, and he should not have gone to the League of Nations, and he should have stayed and fought the battle in Ethiopia. All right. Now, this is going to ruffle some feathers. And I think this is a conversation that some of us, we don't like to have, you know, because, you know, we don't want to make the situation worse than it is. And of course, there are those of us who literally take the whole, you know, God concept, and we include Haile Selassie I alongside, if not alongside, at least in the same room with Marcus Messiah Garvey. I'm not just speaking of Bobo Shanti, you know. Rastafari in general refer to Marcus Messiah Garvey as a prophet, and Messiah Garvey as the prophet. One of his, he's definitely a prophet for sure. And one of his prophecies is the coronation of Kadamawe Haile Selassie I. And it is written that it was the 27th day of March 1928, where Marcus Messiah Garvey said in Elvis Park, "Look to the east, to Ethiopia, where a prince shall be crowned king, and he shall be your liberator. Now, what I find real outstanding about that prophecy is that it's so on point. I mean, it's like on the tip of the needle. So on point. Wow. 1928. Look to the east to Ethiopia, where a prince shall be crowned king. Now, wow. Many of us, we tend to, equate that whole prophecy with Haile Selassie being crowned Negus Negas in 1930 on the 2nd of November. Now, more than likely, it is an extension of all of that. But what to me is very mystic is when Marcus Messiah Garvey said that a prince shall be crowned king. Now remember, Rastafari or Rastafari was crowned king, not in 1930. In 1930, he was crowned so-called King of Kings at Negus Negas. But 1928, on the 7th of October, he was crowned Negus Tafari or Negus Tafari, meaning that he left the princely state and went into the kingly state, not in 1930, in 1928. And what is unique about this situation, if you understand the history well, this is a title that he did not want to take, not Marcus Garvey, Haile Selassie. At this time he was referred to as Rastafari, as I said. And Haile Selassie, the name is older than many of us know, That was his baptismal, but he was baptized with that name. Baptismal name. Yes, thank you. Yes. But Liege Tafari was the name he used as a young child. Dideshmark Tafari, Rastafari, and then in 1928 crowned Negus, yet still Tafari. You see. Now, what is unique is that from 1916, the 27th of September, he was made a regent of Ethiopia, and it was Empress Zaditu, the daughter of Menelik II, that was now the Empress of Ethiopia. And of course, the capital is in Addis Ababa. Now, what is unique about Ethiopia is that the different provinces always had their Negus, their king. So, even if you know basic Ethiopian history, you'd always hear of Negus Mikael of Wolo, different Negus of Tigray, and different, as I said, different areas in Ethiopia. And they wanted to crown Haile Selassie Negus. And do you know, he did not want that title. Read his own autobiography. He actually tried to avoid being crowned Negus. Could you imagine that? Haile Selassie. Oh, you don't know that, eh? Yeah. And one of the reasons given, at least the understanding for it, is that the emperor was always the king of Addis Ababa. So all the provinces had their king, but the king of kings would be the king for the capital, which is Addis Ababa at that time. Now, interestingly, Addis Ababa didn't have a king of kings. It had an empress, Empress Zaditu. So it didn't have a king neither. And it was a strange thing. So it was like something, mystic. I mean, what did Queen of Sheba do? That may be the thought in a case like this, because the capital should have a king. But the king is usually the king of kings, but there's an empress. Well, she's the king. No, she ain't a king. She's the empress. And we got to put the thing in order. And that is why when people refer to Hatshepsut as the king, you know. I mean, she wasn't the queen, she was the king. No, she was the queen. She don't have to be ashamed to say she was the queen or the empress of Kemet. She was not the king or the Nesut Biti or the Nesut, I should say. She was the empress. Not no shame in the game. You don't have to say you were the king to make you seem like you really were the ruler. She was no pharaoh then. In that sense, she was a monarch. But if pharaoh is a title for a man, you know, she was a monarch, but she was an empress. A king is a title for a man. No shame. A woman ain't a king and a king ain't no empress. So if we're talking of equality, let's balance it out properly. Good. So if you read the story good, it's almost at gunpoint in a man. That they had to come and persuade Kadamawi to take the title of king. And when he was coronated king in October, he speaks of that moment as what a joyful and joyous time and moment that came upon him. Interesting, isn't it? So even when you read in your Bible, there was a time when they wanted to crown Christ king. Read it in your scripture. And it says that Christ had to run from them. He slipped them, you know, he hit them a kind of slipperoo. They turned around and he was gone. You know, that's Christ. In the Bible, the Jesus character. They wanted to crown him king. Read the book. And he didn't want to be crowned king. And he even avoided them. That's interesting. That's prophecy. That's the allegory coming alive, really. That's really what it is. You know. So I'm saying all that now to come to Marcus Garvey again. So Marcus Garvey said that a prince shall be crowned king. And he said that 7 months before the 7th day of October 1928, where in Ethiopia a prince was crowned king. And listen to this. There was never another prince crowned king ever again since that time in Ethiopia. Which means, as it relates to Marcus Messiah Garvey's prophecy, there was not even a second runner-up, or first runner-up, or third runner-up, no second place. The prophecy could only fit one person, because only one prince was ever crowned king after Marcus Garvey said what he said. Now, you can't play with them kind of prophecy there. That is spot on. That is spot on. And listen to me, that is not what validates Marcus Garvey alone. Even if he never said that, Marcus Garvey is nothing you can compare nobody with, you know, man. Or compare anybody to him. Messiah Garvey is a gem by himself. Some of you rasses are here, you're trying to diss Garvey, you better check yourself. Yeah, imagine that. As a ras, you're dissing Garvey, when the whole of the conscious world, although they're not really celebrating his birthday, it's a shame. All the red, black, and green world, listen good. Put your ears to the ground and see if we're singing happy birthday, Marcus. No. But we waving the most red, black, and green, everything, even shoes, we have it on. When in Dominica they don't teach us we don't really wear our liberation colors on the ground. Yeah, I'm just telling you. You know? But Marcus Garvey, we ain't got no respect for no Marcus Garvey. We don't have no. Marcus Garvey is another elephant in the room. Marcus Garvey, I hear people putting all sorts of people over Marcus Garvey, man. I'm gonna call some names now, so just put on your bulletproof vest, don't feel no way. Noble Drew Ali. Noble Drew Ali. I mean, I don't care. Enough respect to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Enough respect. Enough respect. Who am I? I just come, I just born the other day. Do you think I, in my ranks, could try to disrespect those who went before me, my elders and my ancestors, some of which have established certain, institutions that have, touched the hearts of many that maybe I have never touched? So enough respect to Noble Juali, Master Fahad Muhammad. There's a lot of controversy of who he really is or was, and the reality of him and XYZ. Well, fair enough, but we see what came out in Elijah Muhammad, you see. And I think it's clear Elijah Muhammad for sure, a former Garveyite, and Malcolm X, his parents, a former Garveyite, and Noble Juali even working with Marcus Messiah Garvey as well. I mean, it's not really about comparing no one to, But to be honest, when you're going to leave Marcus out of the narrative and act as if all these other individuals in their own space and time were the people that brought the black man and the black woman to their feet in the United States of America, you got to be crazy. You must be mad. Something wrong with you. I mean, you're a wise person, but when you come to that point there, you seem to lose it. Fahad Muhammad came to the US, according to what I've been taught, in July 1930. Interesting month and interesting year, 1930. When the Gautama Buddha shall appear. Interesting. Yeah. July, lion time. Marcus Messiah Garvey was already deported by then. Marcus Messiah Garvey was already deported by then. Marcus Messiah Garvey shaking up the US of A and the Black Star Line and the millions of followers all over the world, and black people being arrested in Africa for just reading the Negro World. And where people, when the Negro World would come on the ships, young school children would take the newspaper and memorize it and then throw it away and run back to the villages and spit it out like the Quran to all the old people in the villages. Fahad Muhammad did not reach to the shores of the USA as yet. And after they deported the black god Marcus Garvey, no Fahad Muhammad for at least several years. I ain't trying to diss the master, Fahad Muhammad. I'm just putting reality on the table. We need to cool out. We need to cool out. So if we're trying to look for some sort of hero and patriarch to give, credence to and to give honor to for raising us out of the dust, well, come on, man. If you overlooking Marcus Messiah Garvey, you're just as wicked as our educational masters who overlook Garvey, who overlook Haile Selassie, who overlook all the key people and try to shove in our face those that, those that sort of, sell out a bit, and those that, didn't really come down as hard as the others. No, we don't want to take who they give us. Let them accept who we take for ourselves. Messiah Garvey, Desaline, Idi Amin. Who? I said Idi Amin. If it was Idi Amin and not some of the people that we've had in South Africa, it would have been a different thing. At this time, you wouldn't be crying about no white people don't want to give us back no land. You think I'm supposed to sympathize with some of our old people? Oh, they're not giving us back our land. What do you think of Idi Amin? Oh, he was a wicked tyrant. Now, where am I supposed to join this battle here? If that wicked tyrant was your leader, you'd be jumping for joy. Oh, Uganda, the famine in Uganda. What famine in Uganda? What are you talking about? We can show you documentaries. I mean, we have done it. Go and watch the video that we did on Idi Amin. Go to our YouTube channel and watch the video that we did, Stop the Lies Now, on Idi Amin. It's right there. Type it in. Stop the Lies Now on Idi Amin. Not just talking. We showed you reports from international news agencies. Some of them lying news agencies like Thames and the other ones still had to come clean when the reporter John Snow and some of them went down in Uganda and they had to, say, well, surprisingly, to tell you the truth, there's nobody on the street begging. There's no poverty around. All the cars are new and up to date. The only thing is that we can't get a beer. Exactly, that's Idi Amin country. No sugar and no flour. Them things causing diabetes. They're telling you Uganda was really a pristine country, an example. But because of propaganda, remember, before Idi Amin drove out the Asians and some of the Israeli people, he was a darling, He was a darling. There was nothing wrong with him. Nothing wrong with Uganda. But the moment he said, listen, this is an economic war and we need to take back our resources, all of a sudden he's Satan's twin. The same thing with Mugabe. Mugabe, interesting name. He was the darling of Britain too. Oh, he was a nice little boy. But the moment the farmers came to him and said, listen, brother, this ain't gonna work, we ain't running no Nelson Mandela thing here. We need to get sorry, I just had to say it. So we need to get back our land. No disrespect to the ancestor, man. No disrespect to the ancestor. I just here to talk the truth. That's what journalism is about. We ain't picking sides. Yeah. And that's what they said. That's what I would have said. This ain't no Mandela show. At least not Nelson. If it's Winnie, well, we can work. Enough respect to that ancestor there. You check it. So if you had leaders like these brothers and you would stand by them and stop selling out yourself, you wouldn't be bawling about no white people want to give us back our land in South Africa. You wouldn't be bawling about the situation in Namibia. You understand? And they try to make Idi Amin look like some real killer and some terrorist and don't like this and don't like that. Study Idi Amin properly. When we took the Asians out, it was an economic move. It wasn't with no hatred. Come on, some of these people still worked in Uganda. I mean, Uganda was not no place where if you were not black, you could not come in. Nothing like that ever existed. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. But there was some sort of rearrangement that had to be done for the benefit of the people. Yeah. So the reality is that they tend to give us who they want to give us. That's why Marcus Garvey is left out. That's the point I'm making. And we ourselves as so-called black conscious people, red, black and green, even us, we leave out Messiah Garvey. That's the point again, the Olmec man. You can't have no Olmec conversation and leave out the prophet. I see people putting up pictures of the Olmec now and saying he looked like this, and he looked like this, and he looked like that. I ain't see nobody putting up no Garvey. Well, it's alright, because we've been doing that for a long time. Put up some Idi Amin. And of course, in the DVD documentary, The Night of the Black Tiger, we clearly show you the connection with Idi Amin and Marcus Garvey. We show you the connection with Marcus Garvey and the Firestone Rubber Company. The rubber land that was taken from him, 99 acres. Not 99 acres, it's 99 acres of land in Liberia, taken from Marcus Messiah Garvey and given to the Firestone Rubber Company. The same Firestone tires that you see on the 4Runner and the Wrangler and some of these Jeeps. And remember, several years ago, the tires were just being destroyed on the highways and byways, and these 4Runners, hear that? 4Runners, many people call Garvey a 4Runner. The 4Runners were just flipping and people were dying and all sorts of things, and they had to recall the tires. I don't think it's 99 acres. I think it was a 99-year lease. Yeah. So I'm just showing you that Messiah Garvey, internationally, as I showed you in the documentary 7, he is the Lord Pakal, return again. He is the Krishna. We touch upon all of this in the night of the Black Tiger. That's why Krishna's Earth Day is celebrated at this very same time. We just did a documentary on Krishna a few nights ago. You know, who lived to be 126 years and 8 months. Negus Nagas is 126 now. You know, and Krishna the Black God, the same Olmec that started the calendar, whose Krishna's Earth Day is 12 days removed from the beginning of the Olmec calendar, which is the 13th of August as well, 3114 BC. That's why you see the Olmec on the calendar. It's not a man, it's an Olmec, it's best. You see his tongue sticking out. The same Messiah Garvey. So this is some deep science. Marcus Garvey is directly connected to the planet known as Mars. You know, and that's why when you take the C and the U out of Marcus, you still get the word Mars, and you turn the W in Mars to the M or the M to the W, you get the word wars. And that's not a play with letters. There's a constellation named Cassiopeia that does that every night. One time it's a W and one time it's an M, because it's one of the circumpolar stars of the northern hemisphere. Circumpolar is the hardest point when it comes to proving that this is not a flat planet. So Messiah Garvey, celestially and terrestrially, he's a prophet. And if you want to use the loose term, he's a God. Now you see, this is what I want to come down to now, that God stuff. You know, sometimes for conversation's sake, you hear me say this all the time. We would use the God and the Lord. And for me alone, it doesn't have to be a part of my vocab. Trust me. Can't be upset with me for that. And that is why when people speak about, what you want to say, Haile Selassie is God, you know, sometimes you have to be careful how you answer these questions. No, I'm very serious. Because Haile Selassie is God. You see, is become the equal sign. And that's why many ones even backslide. I would like to use the term for the moment, backslide. Because especially through the ages, you know, give thanks to all the elders. But you see, when Haile Selassie, the monarchy in Ethiopia, was quote unquote disposed, and Haile Selassie disappeared in 75, and then all kind of propaganda came out and they say, well he's got to be dead. Yeah, that's a guess, because nobody knew what happened to it. What happened to him. What I'm saying is that Haile Selassie himself, as an individual, coming off of the scenes, and many ones not able to explain. Many ones disassociated themselves with just the Selassie concept. Why? Well, I mean, the news said that Selassie is dead, isn't it? Wow. Yeah, man, the rats chop off their locks and so. What I'm saying is this. You see, that's the whole, you see, from our perspective, Haile Selassie did not live up to the God stuff. Haile Selassie is the second coming of Jesus. When Jesus died, Jesus come back to life. So we didn't see Haile Selassie coming back to life. They say Prince Emmanuel dropped his structure. Some people may not want me to say this, but ones were waiting for him to rise it back up. I don't know what you want to hide. Some ones were waiting for him to rise it back up. And because they didn't see that, he failed the Jesus test. But the mythology, the allegory of the Jesus and the God, because our slave master has instilled in us a certain expectation of this supernatural understanding, when we see something else or we perceive something else, some of us, we tend to lose the faith. Now, all what I'm saying here is very important in the points that I'm going to make. Very, very important. So Baba Shanti have Marcus Messiah Garvey as a part of a trinity. Now when I say Baba Shanti, I'm not speaking like I speaking about them, you know. I'm in it too. Okay, let me be clear. Messiah Garvey is a part of the trinity. Prophet, priest, and king. Me say so. Me personally say so. Undisputed and undeniable. All right, let's continue. Yeah. And if you don't want to carry it that far, Rastafari at least have him as this prophet. You know? Okay. But Messiah Garvey, as I said at the beginning of the program, disrespect Haile Selassie, isn't it? Yeah. During the time of the Italian War, Haile Selassie I, as we all know the narrative, from the 5th of May 1936, left Ethiopia through Jerusalem, England, Geneva, spoke to the League of Nations, 1936, 30th of June, the 3.5 years in what is referred to as exile and his shrewd political actions to return to Ethiopia and defeat Mussolini. Yes, that's what happened. And it seems as if Marcus Messiah Garvey was not pleased with that. Marcus Messiah Garvey actually said, from what I've read, that Haile Selassie should not have gone to the League of Nations. Now Haile Selassie went to the League of Nations not just in 1936, from 1923-24. Haile Selassie placed Ethiopia into the League of Nations. For that reason, so at that time, he could go to the League of Nations. When that time arose, if the King of Kings never did that strategic move since he was regent in 1923, it would not have been the same result. Even though they didn't do anything to assist, but it put the emperor in a position to judge them correctly and bring the demise upon their own self because they neglected the concept of collective security that they were supposed to uphold. But during the time of the exile and everything, Messiah Garvey was saying like, no man, this is not right. I don't think that Haile Selassie should go to the League of Nations. Now some people would say, I don't believe that. You don't know, back to the, because we're looking for this God kind of vibes, and we don't want to, nothing goes so. It's the wicked make up them story there. Okay. This was cited in the Negro World. This is Marcus Garvey's paper in his editorial. I myself have seen a lecture that Marcus Garvey gave in St. Kitts, where he speaks about this as well. Now, as far as some of the insults with the lion and the cowardly lion thing and all of that, that's another story altogether. You understand? But I would tell my brothers, don't be quick to just deny it because your emotions maybe don't understand what has happened here. All right. Now, how I'm going to break this down, it's not going to sit well with everybody, but it's the best way I think we can look at it. Now, I think by now, most of us that follow up, at least the shock of the hour, we should have a better comprehension of the not just the esoteric, but the spiritual realms, the ancestral realms. There is an angelic realms too. You listening to me? There is an angelic realms. They have angels, angelic beings, not nobody with wings flying around. They have beings that are around you, even in the room where you are, that you cannot see because of the level of vibration that they carry, their frequency. You understand? They have guards on different planes that you cannot see. Some can manifest themselves and some prefer not to. You have a supreme being as well. And don't forget your own ancestors that can communicate with you and can even communicate on your behalf. This is all reality. And in the same way that we are all one, but we have our own personality, it is the same way whether you believe it or not. In the ether world, in the astral world, in the different dimensions. I'm saying that to say, Messiah Garvey is definitely very rough in his expression. Please listen to me. I want you to listen to me good. Messiah Garvey is very rough in his expression. According to Haile Selassie the First himself, Rasses, listen to me good. According to Haile Selassie the First himself, even though the move to go into quote-unquote exile, not really to go into exile, but to go to Geneva, to leave Ethiopia on the battlefield then, that was not the wish of the emperor. And I say, when I say not the wish, I mean he didn't have no intention of doing that. There was a vote wherein they voted overwhelmingly for the king to leave Ethiopia and go to Geneva to address the League of Nations. And even though the vote was in favor of him going, I can't remember the count, I think it's 21-3, something like that, in his autobiography. But it was definitely a landslide, as I said, overwhelmingly. The emperor said when he returned to the palace, it was Empress Menen that finally convinced him to go. Now what I'm saying is this. Haile Selassie said he ain't going because the emperor can't leave the battlefield. What are you talking about? I ain't going. Empress Menen came and told the king, I think you should go. Now I don't know exactly how many times they had to exchange their opinions before the king said, all right, I will follow your opinion, which ain't nothing wrong with that. Listening to your wife. There are many times that a man should really just humble himself and listen to his wife. I know, brothers, sometimes we think we have all the answers, but there are times where you just gotta give the wife a chance. Give her a chance, man. Let her do what she wants to do. I'm being very clear. Because there's a certain level of communication that she has too, that may be a bit different than you. So the point I'm making is that the Empress Menen, now many ones consider Empress Menen as the mother of creation. They have some races now when they say Selassie. If you say Selassie, they're quick to come in. Yes, and Empress Menen. They're coming in quick, They don't want to hear bringing no Emmanuel or nobody else. No. Empress Menen, Empress Menen. Yeah, praise Selassie, yeah, man, and Empress Menen. Can't left out the woman, Empress Menen. Empress Menen. You have the father of creation, that's the mother of creation. God the father and God the mother, Empress Menen. Okay, fair enough. Well, God the Father and God the Mother, I would not say they had a disagreement. I don't want to put it like that, in just in the light of full respect. But there was a difference of opinion in what should take place. Now, as I said, that's Empress Menen. Empress Menen is much more soft-spoken than Marcus Garvey. You know, everybody knows that. Some people can't even tell you how Empress Menen's voice sounds. But when Garvey talk, the place shake. You understand what I'm saying? So, Messiah Garvey, just like the emperor himself. In fact, Garvey and the emperor had the same idea, that the emperor should not leave Ethiopia. So I could imagine even going back to the palace, somebody telling the emperor, yes, my lord, I think it's better that you leave and go to the League of Nations. I could imagine. I don't want to put nothing in the emperor's mouth that he didn't say. But according to his own word in the autobiography, I could imagine him saying, I don't plan to do that. But we voted on it. I do not plan to do that. I have the last say. Yeah. And I don't want to leave. And I don't intend to leave. And then counseling now, or consulting with the mother. And the mother showing him, my lord, I think you should go. You sure? I think you should go. And it was the right decision made by Empress Menen. All right. Marcus Messiah Garvey is Marcus Garvey. Haile Selassie is Haile Selassie. These are human beings. They're different people. Some of them in that realm, they never meet one another. Marcus Messiah Garvey says that he eat the same food every day. That's what he say. The emperor have a different preference when it comes to his meal. I'm sure they have a different preference when it comes to clothes. I'm sure they don't have the same favorite color. I'm sure they don't have the same favorite sports. Garvey is not even a sport man, the way how he talk. You know, yet still you see the Emperor and World Cup in Ethiopia. It's a different thing. They're different people. They're different human beings. There's no two people that are alike. It could be the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. There ain't no two people that are the same. It could be the Father and the Mother of creation. There's still gonna come a time where they look at one another and say, no, my Lord, I don't think that's, I think you're wrong, you know. I don't think that's what it is. You sure? I'm sure. I'm sure. Because they're human beings. This is not a fairy tale. This is not the flying house, and it's not Superbook. And it's not religion. They're two different people. Empress Menen, Haile Selassie, Marcus Garvey, Haile Selassie. They will have different opinions. That's all. And as I said, Marcus Garvey is not Empress Menen. He's not going to tiptoe. He's not going to wait till you come home. He doesn't have that privilege to wait till you come home and say, my lord, can I see you in my chambers? Garvey ain't got them privilege there. Garvey got to write in his paper or use his foghorn and speak loud and say, and imagine the emperor of Ethiopia. Had to go to these crackers to talk about he needs weapons. If I was him, I would just gather the support I have. That's it. If you are him, but you're not him. You are you. You're Marcus Garvey. You got to do what you got to do. And the emperor has to do what the emperor has to do. So for me alone, and that's what religion does to you. It puts a veil over your common sense. So you see everything in this fairy tale religious, perspective. So as I said, the moment that you hear Haile Selassie has disappeared and a couple of years pass, you're not seeing him, you just lose faith, and you know what I mean, you just lose faith. You have this faith in this man, and then you hear your boy the man pass on, you just lose faith all of a sudden, as if you expected him to float up to the sky or live forever or something. Why? Because that's how the Bible speaks about your Christ, your Messiah, your God, and your figures to come. Elijah the prophet went up in a flame and Christ transfigurated on the mountain. So if you're not seeing all of this, and that is why these same people, Marcus Garvey, Prince Emmanuel, and Haile Selassie, sometimes they have to even do these miracles in front of your eyes. Prince Emmanuel alone, I have a whole book to write on that, the Chronicles of Seven. Prince Emmanuel alone, the amount of mystics that he performed in our presence, that the elders that are still amongst us can testify to. Some real mystic thing. Even at the time when they say he dropped his structure, there was a whirlwind that passed through the camp and every man went blind, and that is well known, well understood, well accepted as facts. So obviously there's still the mystic that they carry. No talk about Garvey, who said he returned in the whirlwind. As I say all the time, go and check out a documentary that we did on YouTube on Hurricane Harvey. And you could see the link with Marcus Garvey. So these characters are still mystic, still stand out, still powerful. I like to say that they're natural, but if you don't understand the science, let's just use the term so you can get what I'm saying. They have supernatural abilities. Yeah. But they're human beings, and they have difference of opinions. One may like a Benz and one like a Jaguar. So you want to say, because one say, look, let's buy a Jaguar, and one say, no, I prefer the Mercedes, you're going to say, oh no, they disagree. And as I said, Garvey is a man that's going to say it differently than, let's just say, Empress Menen. He's going to make it clear. They're different people, unless you're looking at it again from a religious point of view and not a realistic point of view, you will get lost. And even if you carry to religion now, Marcus Garvey is supposed to be John the Baptist, isn't it? Marcus Garvey is supposed to be John the Baptist. John the Baptist was the one that baptized Christ, which is symbolic for, Garvey saying that look to the east, for a prince shall be crowned king. Because when Christ came over the mountain, remember John the Baptist was telling them that the Messiah is going to come, And then when Christ came over, he said, there comes the man I've been telling you about. Yeah, that's the same thing Garvey did. He said, there is the man I've been telling you about. And then this dove came down and said, this is my beloved in whom I'm well pleased. And John the Baptist said, man, I'm not worthy to even unloose or loose out the latch of your shoes. And Christ told John, it's okay. The mission that we have is different than the mission of others. Christ literally teamed himself with this John the Baptist figure. Now, when John the Baptist was in his exile, scripture I talking, when John the Baptist was in prison, John the Baptist at one point sent his disciples to Christ. And listen to what John the Baptist told them. Ask Yehoshua if he is the Christ. What? Yes, go ahead. Ask Yehoshua if he is the Messiah or there is another one to come. What? You sure, John? Go ahead. Ask him. But John, you were the one that told us he was the Messiah. Can't you? Listen, don't worry with what I told you. Go and ask him if he is the Messiah or if there is another one to come. That's all I want you to do. And they said, all right. And they went to the Messiah. These are the disciples of John now, They went to the Messiah and they said, Messiah, hey, what's going on, man? How is it? Where's John? He's still in prison. Oh my. But he told us to ask you something. What is it? Well, go ahead, tell him. Well, he told us to ask you if you were the real Messiah. Oh, John told you to ask me that? Yeah, John said, Are you the real Messiah? Or is there another one to come after you? And then Christ told them, okay, just hold on. And according to the Bible, right? Listen, Christ did some miracles. He made the blind see. Hey, this is for sure allegory going on here. But he made the blind see. He made the deaf hear. It's as if he called the whole disabled people and said, let me show you something. He made the lame walk and maybe brought a few people back to life. Got some fish and bread and fed the whole community and said, did you see all of that? And they said, wow. And they marveled. They said, well, you're something else. Yeah. Now what I want you to do, John disciples, yes sir? I want you to go back to John. Yes sir. And I want you to tell John what I showed to you. All right, sir. And do you know, when the disciples turned their back, Christ told his disciples, you see the man called John? There is not another man that has come out of the womb of a woman that is greater than him. Now hold on. I mean, he went on to say other things. I know about the lease in heaven and all of that, but we ain't talking about heaven. Let's talk about where we are. John, according to the Messiah of the Bible, was given the rank of the greatest prophet, technically the greatest anything that ever came out the womb of a woman. John. Billions of people that passed through the earth, and John is the top of the tops. The same John that denied Christ. Well, at least that's what the preacher says. I've heard sermons on this. And even John the Baptist denied Christ. John lost faith when he was in jail. He lost so much faith he had to ask his disciples to go and ask the Messiah if he was really the Messiah. John lost faith. Wow. John asked his disciples to go and ask the Messiah if he was the one. And the miracle that Christ did for his disciples, John doesn't see them things already. Remember, John was the one that saw the dove above his head and he heard the cloud talking and said, this is my son and all of that. John doesn't see Christ raise people from the dead already. John doesn't see the Christ make the blind see. John didn't have to see all of that. That wasn't necessary for John to see. John knew this. So for him to do that for the disciples and then tell them to go and tell John, something don't seem right there. It was as if that lesson was for them, not for John. John knew who he was already. John was the one that said, behold, the Son of God coming. Here come the Lamb of God that will take away the sins of the world. John was the one that proclaimed that to Galilee. John, he was the one that says this is the man that's fulfilling the scripture. John, Marcus I, Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari. So for John to lose all that faith is really crippling. That is something else. But he sent his disciples to ask the Christ. And I believe that that lesson was not for John. And when he sent them, it wasn't on his own behalf. He knew who the Messiah was. He was literally weaning his disciples off of him, John, onto the Messiah. He was literally carrying them or sending them to take up a new discipleship. Because he was locked in prison. His time was coming to an end. But the individual that shall carry you on now, the liberator, the prince that shall be crowned king, he is the one you should go to, and he will take care of you from here on. That's really what it was. So that's why he had to initiate them and show them what he could do and how much people he could bring to life and all of that. And they marveled, John disciples. They marveled, boy. Like, wow, wait until we tell John this. And when the Messiah told them, go back now to John, the first thing that he could say to his own disciples, that John is the tops. John is the tops, and he just dissed you? In what way? Man, he sent his disciples to ask if you were the man. Well, so what? I mean, when you mean so what? There are many people that never diss you. They say Job never diss you. Elijah, who went up in the flames, he never diss you. What about Elisha? What about Isaiah? And all them rough warriors like Ezekiel and Jeremiah? Oh my goodness, what happened to Moses and Abraham, the friend of God, and Noah, faithful in all his house? You mean to tell me John, greater than all them people, when John denied that you were the Messiah? But who said he denied? Wait, how much time we gonna go over this? He sent his disciples. He told his disciples to question you. He told his disciples to question you, to ask you to prove yourself. And you proved yourself not to John. You proved it to the disciples and sent them back to John, and then proclaimed that John is the greatest. That's what the scripture says. That is what the scripture says. So when Marcus Messiah Garvey now, the John the Baptist, say to us, oh, Haile Selassie the first. This is the speech I read now, This is the one I read. I've never seen the Negro World's copy of it. But I don't doubt that it exists. But I've never seen it. But I've read the letters from St. Kitts. And Messiah Garvey said in the lecture he gave in St. Kitts, we admired the young Rastafari when he was regent, and we spoke highly of him and expected great things of him as it relates to the development of Ethiopia. That's Marcus Garvey speaking. But we are greatly displeased with the actions that he took to approach the League of Nations. That's just Marcus' opinion. I mean, come on. The emperor himself, again, didn't have no intention of doing that. But Marcus Garvey ain't the emperor. The emperor got to do what he know he has to do. And as we said before, his own wife sat him down and they discussed the matter and exchanged ideas, just as gods do. You see. So Marcus Garvey saying that to us, to many of us, who are strongly religious in our thinking. Oh, Garvey, this the king. See? Just like the preacher man that on the pulpit. That's why I know we too religiousized. We become conscious Christians. No disrespect to a Christian, We become conscious Christians now. Wherein now all of a sudden, like the preacher that's saying, oh, John the Baptist dissed Jesus. We come down to the same thing. Marcus Garvey, this Selassie. Yeah. And the only reason we look at it like that is because we have put this fantasy-like atmosphere around Garvey. We've put this fantasy religious-like atmosphere around Haile Selassie. We do the same thing with Prince Emmanuel as well. So we have them as the second coming of Jesus. And they're supposed to go up in a chariot of fire. And this one is supposed to ever die. And if he dropped down, he's supposed to get back up. And when none of them things happen, at least so it appears to us, because we don't even understand that nobody really dies. We don't understand the science of the Almighty putting down structure and taking up another one and coming through the womb again. We're so lost in religion. We're so lost in Sunday school. And we forget to drop them old baggage from the slave master when we drop the broom into consciousness. So we bring a lot of that fairy tale and fantasy with us. So when Marcus Garvey, as a human being that has his own opinion, say Selassie shouldn't go to the League of Nations, or lock that down, but tell her he ain't been a part of no Trinity. Look how he this the king. Same thing with John the Divine, the Baptist. So my brothers, what I'm saying here on this celebration of Marcus Garvey's birthday, Let's let go the fantasy. Let's look at things in the realistic perspective of it. And don't be afraid to link the prophet and the priest and the king. It's not no Bible doctrine. The Master Lord Packle done proved that. The footstool of Tutankhamun proved that already. When the necklace of Lord Packle 114 met the necklace of Tutankhamun 110. So you go. Yeah. In the year 2002. That's when Garvey was 114 and the Emperor was 110 to fulfill all prophecy. So it's a oneness. They do blend together. They've already been etched as a team from all prophecies. That's for sure. So even the little words that they spat at each other, if that was the case, that can't even move somebody like me, because we understand this is a divine expression taking place. Out of chaos and confusion comes stability. And if you understand quantum physics, cosmics must collide. It is a must. They must collide. So yeah, my brothers and sisters, all we are saying is, let us look at this realistically. Let us not be too fanatical. It's time for us to come down to earth now. You know, that's why a lot of people throw away babies with bath waters, throw away Bible, throw away everything. They don't want to hear nothing about anything that sound like that. As I said, I know bubble priests that shave their locks and tell you they're rocking Kemet now and dealing with Osiris, not understanding. You know, I have a brethren, I know he's listening. A few years before we did the Master of Ceremonies, I met him online and he was telling me, man, he was a priest. And I've met several people like this online, and he was saying, man, when I saw his picture, he was rocking a New York cap with a big anchor around his neck and saying his Anubis dealing with and Osiris. And when we did the Master of Ceremonies, the brother cried. The brother shed tears. I don't think he's, came back to the order like that since. Well, I haven't heard from him for a while. But, I mean, remember he was already a part of this, He was a Bobo Shanti. He was of the order of Prince Emmanuel Charles Edward. So he hailed in Haile Selassie as Negus Nagas, as the Almighty Iden. And because, certain things he came across, as I said, understanding that the ancient Kemetic writings are older than the Bible and maybe this and, these things that we learn along the way. So our understanding don't really kick in as fast as our knowledge. So we quick to drop this and drop that, and we just, boy, I still rate the king, the king is, man, enough respect, but right now I'm on a higher level. What higher level can there be? Which higher level? There ain't no higher level than Haile Selassie. Trust me, don't be playing with me. Not because you can, do all them quantum talk. There's no higher level than Haile Selassie. And that is why even we ourselves disrespect Rastafari. Because we feel that there's something higher. There ain't nothing higher than this. It may not be expressed in its higher form. I'll be very clear here. Time for me to be very clear. But that's why people like me are around. To show you the higher levels of this stuff. Straight. I ain't gonna pretend it. I ain't gonna hide it like if, nah, it ain't me, it's me. Straight up. That's why I am here. To express the higher levels of this stuff. Because too many people look down on Rasta. Like if Rasta is just some Bible thing and, we believe in Ethiopia. And I respect the Rastas. They've been keeping up the culture. Me ain't keeping no culture. We have the truth. Yeah. It's scientifically too. All aspects and respect. Straight up. I'm going to be telling some of you rasses, you need to call for me. Some of you try to take on battles that you can't handle, knowing that I got the answer, man. Come on, man. We play around too much. The elephant in the room, man. Holy Marcus I, Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari. I'm seeing YouTube videos. I see people interviewing people. I see that YouTube, Facebook, You're a Rastafari. Tell me something. I know you Rastafari studies the stars and these different things. How you link? And let's be straight, Is me the checking for you? That Rastafari, which Rastafari study stars? Is me the checking for? And before the person they interviewing, just be clear and say, well, you see that question you put to me, I think it's better you ask Priest Isaac. We're gonna try to answer it. Even right here in Antigua, the same thing. Right here in Antigua, straight up. They go looking for me, and before they send them to me, they try to do the interview themselves. Yeah, because we don't respect each other. That's a disease we have. Don't stay in our lane. And because somebody excel in a field, we try to pretend as if we don't see, and we cut them off. A lot of people cut me off, Enough people, even some of you listening to me, you cut me off. You know that. You literally cut me off. Because I don't know who he think he is. That's me you're talking about. He feel he know too much. Oh, he always, every day he posting up video and he always talking about this and talking about stars and talking about the geological this of the earth. What does that have to do with anything? That has to do with everything. So we need to temper ourselves, man. See, I just give you the answer for the Marcus Garvey question. That's the answer there. That's the answer there. You understand? So if anybody asks you, why Marcus this the king, refer to this. Tell them, listen this. If you can't answer it, tell them, listen to this. Because if you ask me something and I can't answer you, I'm going to refer you to where the answer is. I ain't going to be trying to pretend I have all the answers. Several times people ask me questions, and I say, I don't know. And their response is, wow, I thought you knew everything. That happened to me more than once. Just to show you where we think, how we think. And I'm happy to say I don't know. Because I don't want nobody looking at me like how I see people looking at other people. So now when I talk my toe, you're going to say, oh my, I thought he was perfect. No, I mean, I'm not perfect yet. But I listen, I'm not no sinner. I ain't no robber. I'm not no thief. I don't even lie. I'm being very clear. I ain't got no reason to lie to nobody. I'm not telling you I wouldn't tell a lie, man. Because to save a life, I'm going to do it. And I've done it too. I've done it not too long ago too. I have done it. Straight up. In the presence of gunmen with masks on their face. I have done it. Straight up. I have made sure that brothers were kept alive with a lie. So I telling you, that's anybody ever come and just tell you that they lie? Well, I'm telling you that I lied. Is anybody else around here? No, it's just us. And somebody else was there sleeping in their room. And for me to say so, you must be saying, wait, what are the priest saying here? I'm just showing you, for me to say that, my life was at risk. Yeah, I'm showing you. I'm trying to open myself to the people, because life is real. Life is real. In the old slavery days, they put this fear in us. If you hear about the Harriet Tubman story, Harriet Tubman father would blindfold himself and carry food for Harriet Tubman when she came back for the rest of her family, and give her the food and blindfold himself so he could not see her. So when the master come and said, who was here? Master, I'm telling you the truth. I didn't see a thing. So you blindfold yourself for that? Boy, look, I wouldn't blindfold myself and I would still tell him I didn't see a thing. But they put such fear in us now. Thou shalt not lie and thou shalt not steal. I ain't lying, I ain't stealing for nobody for sure. But if you got something for me and trying to pretend that it's law and you have my people starving, I'm going to get it from you. And I'll be proud to say that I did it too. You understand? And that's the level, man. So we got to be real in this time. That's why everything here is a real lesson that we're expressing here. It's all about reality, not spookism. Reality. And me, I will ever hold fast to the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards order. I personally see that that is what was the original civilized order on this planet. And I see the angelic being from the angelic realms that we call Prince Emmanuel Charles Edwards is the human being that was selected from the Akashic world, from the Orisha, to bring that order again to us, straight up. You ain't got to get too spooky. You don't have to lose it and try to identify it with some sort of Roman theology. It's just what it is, even without the Bible. Marcus Garvey we're celebrating, man. It's just what it is. That's Messiah Garvey. That's who come and wake us up. Enough people were trying. Prince Class tried. Nat Turner was trying. Denmark VC was trying. Who them fellas Garvey went and meet? Oh my, wow. The Boys gave a little attempt. Straight up. Oh my, Booker T. Washington, nice book. And all the others. A. Philip Randolph. Enough people were trying. But when Garvey came in from the West Indies, from Jamaica, see me, he broke down the walls of Jericho, brother. They had to go and run find J. Edgar Hoover and say, boss, we need you. The FBI became the FBI, trying to lock down Garvey. Anybody else you see they went after, it was no Black Messiah. Garvey was the Black Messiah. Them other people were the sons of the Black Messiah. Those were the cubs of Marcus Messiah Garvey, you know. So give thanks. In all good doings and saying, give thanks to those who keep up the Marcus Garvey struggle. I can't be saying one thing and those said he had enough respect to even a brother like Umar Johnson that spit the words of Messiah Garvey. You know, give thanks, you know, for again, even the Nation of Islam, who also, you know, speak of the high powers of Garvey and the red, black and green community and even the Moors, the Moorish Science Temple. We glorify them, you know, for such you know, keeping up the works of the UNIA and all the UNA branches internationally. Glorify again for keeping, you know, the spirit of Messiah Garvey alive. Enough respect to Runoko Rashidi, an individual that shows a lot of passion and love for Marcus Messiah Garvey also himself. You know, give thanks to Dr. Julius Garvey and Marcus Messiah Garvey Jr. as well. You know, keeping up the name of their father, you know, in all ways, in all doings. We are thankful for such as that, you know. Yeah, so we do give thanks. My elder and counselor as well, and mentor in different ways, the Honorable Priest Blyden. You know, give thanks also, my Lord, for the tradition upkept, and, you know, the ancestors with us, and the spirit of the works that is carrying on. So let's celebrate Garvey, you know. You know, look for him in the whirlwind, man. Look for him in the thunderstorm, man. You know, look for him in the earthquake, man. The 17th of August, man. Yeah, man. Usually something happens on that day, one way or the other. The Black Christ reigneth supreme. Make sure you get the copy of the book, The True Biblical Land of Israel. Make sure you get your copy of the book, Anu. And make sure you get the Master of get the Master of Ceremonies too. But I was saying, make sure you get the Night of the Black Tiger. Yeah, Prophet Marcus I, man. Holy Marcus I, Selassie I, Jah Rastafari. Bible history mystery, you don't know how it goes.
Yes, I know flower this on the ends, representing the flames. Yo, the one after the Honorable Priest Isaac. Some boy fi know this. Hear me now. Antigua are the place where Priest Isaac dwell. Ancient Israel, ancient story fi tell. Yes, up a Lalibela where the monk them a dwell. With them mescal, them a broke evil spell. Priest Isaac is an angel. Mystic vibration is an angel, and them nah go rebel. In a Zion where we dwell, when we broke for them spell. This Isaac is an angel, yes, he's my angel. His foundations in the whole mountain. Priest Isaac on the whole mountain. Him black a reverence on the whole mountain. Him chant a psalm on the whole mountain. But never hesitate for yell the king. I take a Isaro Einin. So proud yes to be an offspring. Mystic vibration of the people them a sing. Angel, mystic vibration is an angel, and them nah go rebel. In a Zion where him dwell, when we broke for them spell. Priest Isaac is an angel, yes, he's my angel. Priest Isaac is an angel, mystic vibration is an angel, and them nah go rebel. In a Zion where we dwell, when we broke for them spell. Priest Isaac is an angel, yes, he's my angel. Trod on the banks of the gully. Isaac trod it through the hills and the valley. Trod it through the town, through the bloody city. Haile, 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 always with we. Haile, 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 I protect we. Haile, 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 I would never leave.